Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a winter makeup look. I'm probably going to do something really simple in the eyes and then a really dark bold lip. So if you want to see me do my winter makeup look, then just keep watching. So I'm going to start off with my eyes today, which I don't normally do, but it's easier for me to do winged liner whenever I have like that tape guide. So I'm going to do that today. But I'm going to start off by priming my eyelids with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus eyeshadow primer. So now that I got my eyelids primed, I'm going to go in with the Profusion Naturals palette. Just very neutral, natural colors. And I'm going to take this e.l.f. concealer brush and I'm going to go in with the shade Sugar and set my lids. So now I'm going to go in with this Ellie Maya ER12 brush and I'm going to go in to the shade Heavenly, which is a light peachy tone. And I'm just going to build that color up a little bit. Alright, so next I'm going to keep that same brush. I'm going to go in with the shade Doll. And then using a smaller fluffy brush, and this is the Bogachis Tapered Blending Brush, I am going to go in to the shade Outspoken, which is a deep brown, and focus that on the... I never put my tape on. So I'm going to go ahead and put my tape on. I'm now going to go in with that Outspoken shade and focus this on my outer corner. And then I'm going to go back in with that other brush and take a little bit more of that Heavenly shade to warm up the crease a little more. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the shade Chatty, which is like a champagne shimmer, and I'm just going to apply that with my finger. And then I'm going to go back into that Outspoken shade with just a little bit on my brush and buff out that edge. So now I'm going to go in with this eyeliner. It's the Ciate Starstruck eyeliner. and I'm going to create a wing. So now I have both of my wings on. I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise mascara and put some on my lashes. To prime my skin, I'm going to do a combination of primers because it is winter, so your skin's fairly dry, so I recommend a lot of moisturizing primers. So the first thing I'm going to do is go in with this e.l.f. Prep and Hydrate Balm, just to give my skin some moisture back, because today I think it's currently like 10 degrees maybe, and yeah, so it's currently 9 degrees, and it was colder this morning, and with wind chill this morning whenever I walked to class it was like -7. So definitely dried out my skin. The real feel right now is only 5 degrees, so I'm glad I'm not outside. And it's been cold the last few days, so my skin has felt very dry. I'm gonna let that sink in a little bit, and then I'm going to go in with a second primer, which is the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer, and focus that on my T-zone, and then right under my eyes and my chin. I think I'm gonna have to buy another hydrating or pore filling primer because I think I'm out. So I can hardly get anything out. I'm going to let that set a little bit, and then I'm going to do a spritz of MAC Fix Plus to hopefully really hydrate my skin. So while this is setting in, so with it being so cold outside, you're gonna want foundation that's not mattifying. You're gonna want a natural to dewy finish depending upon if you have oily versus dry skin. So if you have dry skin already, you're gonna want a dewy finish foundation. If you have normal skin, you could get away with either a natural or a dewy finish, but if you have oily skin, you're gonna want to go with a natural finish. And mine, it depends on the day. Sometimes my skin's really oily, and other times it's like super dry, so I guess I don't know what you would call it, but I'm going to use a mix of the Tarte Shape Tape Hydrating Foundation in shade N22, which is light neutral, the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir in 710, which is Classic Ivory, and if that is too dark, which I don't know if it will be or not, but if this ends up being too dark, then I'm going to add in a little bit of Wet n Wild Photo Focus in Nude Ivory, but I'll let you know if I add the Photo Focus foundation. So I'm going to start off with the Tarte one because it's the paddle, I think that's gonna be a little dark, so I'm gonna add a hair of the Wet n Wild Photo Focus. I'm going to take my beauty blender and dot that foundation on my face. And I'm going to blend it out. And if you have dry skin, you're going to want to use a beauty blender because that's going to give you a more dewy finish than it is if you use a brush. But I mean, ultimately it's up to you, but that's what I would recommend if you have dry skin. If you have oily, you could use a brush, or you can use a sponge. It just depends upon your preference. If you have normal, you can use either, but for oily skin, I would probably, like, I know I said you could use either, it's based upon your preference, but I would probably recommend a brush. But some people don't like the way foundations apply with a brush, so ultimately it is up to you, but I would recommend a brush. I would recommend a sponge for dry skin, and then you normal combination skin people, you could do either. Alright, so now that I have my foundation on, I'm going to go in with concealer, and I'm going to use the Tarte Shape Tape concealer. Again, it goes along the same lines as the foundation. If you have oily skin, you're not going to want a mattifying concealer, but you're not going to have to worry about finding a hydrating concealer. If you have normal skin, you can really use whatever you prefer, and then if you have dry skin, you're going to want to find a hydrating concealer. But I'm going to use Tarte Shape Tape just because I like the coverage that I get with Tarte Shape Tape. So that's just my preference. But you're not going to want something too drying, so if you have a concealer that when you put it under your eyes it's very drying, you're not going to want to use it right now. Unless, of course, you have oily skin, then you'll be fine. And I know some people have issues with Tarte Shape Tape looking dry. I personally don't have that issue, but I know some people do. So if you're one of those people, obviously you're not going to want to use Tarte Shape Tape. You're going to want to find something more moisturizing. I know people say that the Makeup Revolution concealer, which I do have, is Tarte Shape Tape coverage without the dryness. I personally don't think it has as much coverage as Tarte Shape Tape, but that's just me personally. Some people say it does. Others, like me, I don't think it has as much coverage. But now I'm going to use the Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in the shade 10. And normally, because I have more oily than dry skin, I generally tend to push in my powder all over with a sponge. But whenever it's really cold out, if I'm going to be wearing my makeup, I tend to just take a big powder brush and set my whole face that way. And then sometimes I'll still focus powder on my under eye, which I am going to do. So now I'm going to go in with my bronzer, and I'm going to use the e.l.f. bronzer in light matte, and I'm going to go lightly with this just because you're not really going to have much of a glowy face or bronzy face in the winter because everybody pretty much pales out. But I want just a hair of bronziness. I'm gonna really blend out on my forehead because, like, for some reason when I do bronzer on my forehead, it always makes my forehead look really weird. Like, it always makes my forehead look gray. Because, like, if you see, like, this spot right here and, like, right here, so I just put bronzer and that makes my forehead gray, which is so weird. And now for blush, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Tickled Pink blush. It's just a peachy-ish blush. And you don't want too peachy because that kind of pulls summery, but I'm not a fan of like dark blush on my cheeks, which if you are, winter's the best time to wear dark blush. I just personally am not that big of a fan of dark blush just because I'm so pale. But I really like peachy tone blushes, and this blush is light enough that if you get cold, you're already going to get rosy. So this will give you a good balance. And then I'm going to take this IBY highlighter in Radiant Glow highlighter in Pink Pearl. I like to do the really like bright highlights anyways, even if it is winter. I'm going to take that same highlighter and put that on my inner corner and under my brow bone. I think I'm going to go back in to that palette and add a little bit of Excited on my inner corner and brow bone as well. Actually, I think I'm going to go in with Chatty, which is the same color we used on our lids because I didn't really like how Excited looked. So we used Chatty. My last on camera step is going to be putting on this Wet n Wild Mega Last liquid lipstick in the shade Video Vixen. I like doing colors like this in the winter, but that's just my preference. Alright, and then I'm going to go off camera and do my brows and put on some false lashes, and I will be right back. Alright, so this is the final look. A very simple, neutral eye, a bold, vampy lip. That is everything for this video. If you like what you saw, be sure to subscribe to my channel before you leave. There'll be a little circle at some point, like right here in the middle, that has my face on it. You can click on that to subscribe. Also, if you really did like this video, give it a thumbs up so I know that this is something you guys like. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.